what's the most common misunderstanding people have about translating the Bible? Because people think, that word for word is the most accurate thing.
Yeah.
And it might have the literal words, but it seems like we're missing something. So talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, well, you're pointing me in the right direction. I think that is kind of a misconception. You can see how that misconception, that word for word, is more accurate than what's commonly called thought for thought or functional equivalent translation. So word for word technically is formal equivalent translation. Thought for thought is functional equivalent. Sometimes it's called dynamic equivalent, but that's considered, the word dynamic is a bit probably too loose to talk about, or it might be kind of marketing. But in any case, the bottom line is you think word for word because it sounds like you're paying attention to every word and you're trying to preserve how that word in the Hebrew or Greek or the small amount of Aramaic is related to English, but that's not how languages work. What you have to do is think. A lot of people know the Spanish expression "como se llama," and if you ask how do you translate that, they're going to say "what's your name," and that's a thought for thought translation, as opposed to "what is it called" or "what is it named," or "how is it named." So just that one example shows you that thought for thought actually communicates more accurately the meaning of the original language. Now, you could go too far in that direction. You can, and we need translations that are more word for word. So what I always tell people is, isn't it wonderful that we have this wide spectrum of translations that we can use, and you should read more than one of them.
I agree. That's why I tried to go through different types of study Bibles over the years. Going through different versions because it brings out a different emphasis. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, whether it's the NLT Life Application Bible or the Chronological Study Bible, which really messed with me. But doing the HCSB or CSB or NIV or the Archaeological Study Bible and the NIV, just each one brings out something different. Actually, one of my favorites was the Literary Study Bible, which is because that was looking at the Bible through literature. So that's why I try to tell people there's the best one's the one you read.
That's exactly right. I should also, while I'm thinking about it, something you said brought this up. Important thing for people to realize about translations is that they involve interpretation. And so you should be mindful of where your translation's coming from. Not that, and I would say none of the major ones out there are going to mislead you or anything, because what's really important in Scripture is clear, and that message is going to get across. But people should be mindful of the fact that the reason why it takes 10 years to produce and 90 scholars total to produce the New Living Translation is because to translate it, you're involved in discussions of proper interpretation. Just take a good example, Genesis 1:1 and 2. Do you translate it, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, period. Now the earth was formless and void. Or do you translate it, in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, comma, the earth was formless and void. And so that's just one example of the fact that translations are interpretations, which should tell you to look at more than one translation when you're doing a deep dive. Into and also use good resources like the study Bibles you're mentioning. Get behind why is there a difference here between these two, and what significance does that have? I also mention it sometimes because when I'm talking about, say, Genesis 1 and its ancient Near Eastern background, I've had people come up to me and say, we don't need you and all your knowledge about the ancient Near East to understand the Bible. I said, no, you really don't understand the main message, but it's very helpful. They go, no. I just need my Bible, my ESV, my NLT. And I say, well, you got to realize by the time you're reading it, we've made a lot of interpretive decisions.